Hello, all of you lovely people. How the heck is the world today? Not the world. How's your world today? Debbie C, what is up? Deb Hillard. Hi, Kayla. Good to see you. Toastmaster. Janet, Mike, Daisy. What is up, you guys? I missed you, even though it's been 24 hours. Jonathan Yard, Anita, Lisa M, Bill H, Kemp, Marley Jacobs, Havis. The crew is here. The homeowners are here. You guys, a very, very special day today. We passed over 60,000 subscribers to our incredible newsletter and our world. So it's a huge, huge thank you to you guys. If you've been with us before, for spreading the word, or if you haven't been with us and you are spreading the word, we're so grateful that you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a big kind of notch in our belt for how we're growing, and we're just so proud. So thrilled that our community just continues to get bigger, and we get to cook with more people from around the world. I'm Joel Gamoran. I'm the head chef here at Homemade. So thrilled to be making pizza with you guys today, and not just any pizza, barbecue chicken pizza, which I think is extremely, extremely controversial, because every Italian in the world would roll over in their grave if we were talking about putting barbecue sauce on a pizza crust. Let's be honest. This is an American creation through and through. It's a Frankenstein dish. But when it's made right, with all these little things we're going to be doing and the right chicken, whew, so good. So good. So it's a lot piled on, but it's kind of worth it. It's kind of worth it. I can tell you right now, Sid, who predominantly does not eat meat, when she shot this and she had a little slice and she was like, oh, that's dangerous. That is really dangerous. So really good stuff. Per usual, it is not just me here. We have another chef in the chat, Chef George. He is awesome. So he will be in the chat if you guys need anything. If you need me to, repeat a certain ingredient, or if you have a question around a technique and not so comfortable raising your hand, go to George. He's the man. But of course, if I can see your screen, meaning you turn on your camera, even if you're not cooking, it doesn't matter to us. You can raise your virtual hand, and I can call on you, and we can talk in real time, which is so cool. So, like I said, today's kind of a crazy pizza. There's a lot of ingredients. There will be moments where I can be like, okay, you can kind of get rid of this ingredient. But one ingredient that absolutely is crucial for this pizza is the right chicken. You guys know, if you've been watching us for over 2.5 years, we've only worked with one chicken brand. Chicken is, let's just be real, it's the most popular thing on Americans' table, on honestly tables around the world. So we wanted to find a chicken brand that we could really stand behind, and that is why we chose Ranger Chicken. Ranger Chicken. Free-range chicken, which means it can literally, the chickens get to go out, run around, do what chickens do, flex their feathers. They're not crammed into crates or anything like that. They're completely non-GMO diet, which is huge for us. So not modified at all. It's mainly soybean, incredible different things like corn and sweetness that kind of adds to the chicken itself. So really important why we chose Ranger and why Ranger chose us is that we're both really true to the word, and we wanted something that tasted incredible. And when you taste Ranger chicken, there's chicken and then there's Ranger chicken. So really important. You can only find it in Washington or Oregon. So in Washington State or Oregon State, you can usually find it like Safeway, things like that. If you don't live in those states, that's totally cool. Their parent company is Draper Valley Farms. So drapervalleyfarms.com. You can go check out what chicken they have that's near you. But Ranger Chicken is the one that we love since we're based in Seattle. So let's get cooking. Couple of things. We're going to start with our toppings here. So we're going to start with our Ranger Chicken, and we've got some bacon, because of course. So first things first, I would preheat my oven to 400, 425 degrees, somewhere in there, Fahrenheit. So just get it going, 400, 425. And what I like to do is, since chicken breast is so lean, I like to give it a little bit of extra fat, a little bit of olive oil. And a little bit of cracked pep, too. Actually, a lot. This kind of builds a crust when you're roasting chicken like this. I got some salt. And no need to season the other side. Just kind of over-season one side. This is the side that's really going to be building the crust. And then I got a really cool tip for you. So we're going to roast the bacon as well. So we're going to bake the chicken, and we're going to bake the bacon. Whenever you're doing pizza toppings, if a topping does not take, if it takes more than 5 minutes to cook through, you need to cook it before the pizza. So I'm going to repeat that. If it takes more than 5 minutes to cook through, you have to cook it before you put it on the pizza. So like sausage, you can't really put raw sausage on pizza. It won't cook in 5 minutes. So you have to cook the sausage prior to the pizza, right? Cheese or really thinly sliced vegetables, those can cook in 5 minutes. So those can go on the pizza as is. So that's how you kind of determine what needs to go on the pizza in what order. So bacon and, of course, our Ranger chicken. A really cool tip is I like to have these sheet trays and just place the Ranger chicken on top of the bacon. So just again, so you guys can see, bacon's here, chicken there. That's going to hold down the bacon so it doesn't curl up, keeping it really flat, getting it incredibly crispy. And then I take both pans and I put it right in the oven. Okay, again, 400 degrees, maybe 425 if your oven's a little bit on the fritz. And we didn't want you guys to have to sit through this, so I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. But as simple as this. You can imagine kind of a smaller version. George did this, but you can see beautiful crust on the chicken, the Ranger chicken, plump, juicy, delicious, and then bacon. So baked it like this. You can see how flat and crispy the bacon gets when you bake it like that. Cool? So at this stage, I'm going to start with the bacon. I'm just going to kind of slice this up into bite-sized pieces. Nothing crazy here. Beautiful. Put it back on its little tray. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the chicken. Grab my Ranger chicken and just go after it. The thinner the better on this Ranger chicken. You don't really want to chew through it. You want to kind of let it melt in your mouth. George, you cooked this chicken beautifully, man. Thank you. All right. I think one is going to be plenty for us. So thinly sliced chicken, coarsely chopped bacon, super easy. These are going to be our toppings for later on. In total, they took about 20 to 25 minutes at that 400 degrees marker. Cool? Any questions on those? We're doing good? All right. Good. All right. So chicken and bacon cooked to the side. Toppings are really good. Now we're going to do a topping to finish the pizza. I think learning how to quick pickle, we're going to make a quick pickled red onion, is such an important skill. No one does this, and you could put these red onions on anything. Salad, grilled fish, burgers, meatballs, like anything. Gorgeous, things like chow mein and pad thai. It just brightens up everything. So if you can learn how to make quick pickled red onions, the rest is history, really. So we're going to pickle some red onions in a flash here. What I got is a saucepan, and I'm going to turn that on a high heat. So like 10 out of 10. And I'm going to start with some apple cider vinegar. Okay? A little bit of water. Quarter cup or so. And some maple syrup. Of course, you can use sugar, honey, just something to kind of give it some sweetness. And then I got some spices. You do not need any of these. Literally, you need the salt. That's it. The rest are optional, but they really do give a little bit of a kick to these onions. So we've got some peppercorns, allspice, bay leaf, chili flake, and clove. So again, you don't need any of them. I don't want you to think you need to go get all these spices to pickle red onions. You don't. You need the salt, which is a nice big pinch, but the rest are optional. So they're all going in. And we're basically just making a really quick brine. All right, this is going to go over the onions and kind of soak into them. Raise your hand if you have ever pickled anything in your life before. Yeah, Lena. Okay, most people haven't. I think when you think of pickling, you think of like pickles. You think of like, cucumbers. And it's like preserving. This is not about preserving. These will stay okay for about a week. They actually start to get a little weird after 5 days. This is about injecting flavor into these onions. So that's why it's called a quick pickle. A normal pickle, you have to bust out the jars, you have to do the whole thing. This is not that. Cool. So I'm going to grab a red onion, and I'm going to cut off the bottom. I think I only need I'll do the whole thing. Top, cut this puppy in half. Always save your scraps in the freezer for stock, especially if you have some Ranger chicken bones or something like that in there. So good. I love it. And then we're just going to slice these as thin as you can. Really simple. So slice, 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 slice. And you're going to see them change color right before your eyes. We kind of did this yesterday. We were doing an oyster class with a mignonette. It's very similar. When I get about halfway through the onion, by the way, I kind of just turn it over. Beautiful. These are great. All right, now check this out. My brine has come up to a boil. So at this point, I can turn it off. All right? Onions are hanging. Brine is warm. And all I got to do is grab a bowl, put my onions in it. Man, that smells really good. Beautiful. And then pour your brine over the top. Spices and everything. Yeah, baby. Make sure they're completely submerged. All right, this looks great. You guys can see. I'm going to hold it up so you guys can look at the color. From red, you can already see it kind of turning that hot pink. I always call them like 80s red onions because it's that 80s red that like Andre Agassi used to wear. Look at it's changing right before our eyes. It's kind of crazy. It's really cool. Easy pickled red onions. Again, so good on so many different things. Really going to be a nice finish on this pizza. Awesome. How we all doing out there? We got the bacon thing done, the chicken thing done, and the onion thing done. Is there any like crazy questions? Am I losing people? Where are we at? Yeah, you can use a fresh bay leaf on the brine. And again, don't feel like you have to use a bay leaf at all. It's all about really that sugar, in this case, maple syrup, vinegar, and water. Debbie C., what's up?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good.
So why pour the liquid over the onion instead of just dumping the onion into the pan?
Yeah, you totally can. The pan is so hot, so it's continuing to cook. By pouring it out, it will cool down faster. And you don't really want to cook those onions. They're going to get soggy, so you kind of want to keep them crunchy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, great question. All right. See, that's the chef roll-up of the sleeves because we're making some barbecue sauce next. We've been getting a lot of questions about the chicken. I do want to call out, again, free-range chicken is really important to us because not only do the chickens burn fat by running around, which means that they're leaner and they're more flavorful. When you have just this really plump chicken, sometimes it's not as tender, it's a little bit too fatty, and it's not what you're looking for. You want this really concentrated flavor in chicken. Yes, it can mean it can get dry, but that's why you're here at Homemade, is how to learn how to not dry out things like that. So really, really important that with Ranger chicken that it was free range. Like that is one of the top things you need to look for at the grocery store when picking out a great chicken, free range, right? The GMO diet, the non-GMO diet, super crucial because whatever the chicken's eating, you're eating. Enough said. I don't want to eat crap if the chicken's eating crap. So I want natural things that the chicken would eat, that beautiful corn, that soybean diet, the non-GMO, crucial. All right. So next up, same pot as our pickled red onions. We're going to make a barbecue sauce. Now, this is a quick barbecue sauce. Everything at Homemade is quick because we really want you guys to cook more, right? We want you to cook more homemade, and we know that time is of the essence nowadays. So this is kind of like a 15-minute barbecue sauce. Typically, a barbecue sauce could take all day. who's got time for that? Maybe on a Saturday or Sunday once a year, but on a normal day, if I'm making my own barbecue sauce, this is how I do it. So a couple of ingredients, and by a couple I mean a heck of a lot of ingredients. We've got brown sugar. We've got Worcestershire. We've got ketchup. We've got apple cider vinegar. We've got an apple. We've got an onion. A whole mess of spices. I'll go over them, but again, I don't want you to feel like super stuck on them. We've got nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, smoked paprika, cayenne, white pepper, and some garlic. I mean, nothing crazy, but you don't need all of them. All right. So step one for this barbecue sauce is we're going to kind of prepare the apples and the onions. Now you're about to see me do something I absolutely hate doing in the kitchen, but it is kind of important for this. We're going to grate an onion. I hate this. My mom, growing up in a Jewish household, she made latkes every year. And she would grate an onion and put those in the potato pancakes into the latke. And I don't know, just like it got everyone crying. Not in a bad way, but it's just like it brings up some PTSD of family fighting and that type of stuff. So like this is just one of the smells and vibes that I hate. And you want to be careful because it's slippery and you can accidentally, snag your knuckles. So just be careful with this. You can absolutely chop this up, but because this is a sauce and we want it to be kind of velvety, we do want it really fine. So I've got a box grater here. I just peeled my onion back. And on the biggest setting on the box grater, so those big ones, not these small, fine ones, but these big notches, I'm going to start grating my onion. Oh, I hate this. This is torture. You guys can see it work doing its magic. The reason also that you cry from this is because, these really aren't that sharp, the little notches on these graters. And so it just pushes the onion vapors out. And I hate that. It really does make you cry. I'm glad I'm wearing my glasses today. So I'm just going to grate this real quick, get done with it. It is worth it. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't have put it in the recipe if it wasn't. These little scraps, they're not worth you cutting yourself. So if you have a little bit of onion scrap, again, save it for stock or a different dish. But really, you just need like a handful of grated onion. So I'm going to get a pan going here. Same pan that we had before. Just add a little bit of vegetable oil. And I'm going to start sweating out that onion. All right, sweating does not mean caramelizing. It just means kind of slowly, like I'm going to be on like a 6 out of 10. Slowly start to cooking it. Just like let it start to get a little sweet. And speaking of sweet, we are going to grate an apple now. Same deal. I don't hate grating an apple as much as I hate an onion. Doesn't make you cry. So grate this up. I like to save the cores and put them in like vodka, clear alcohol, and make or even brandy and make your own apple brandy. Or you can cook the cores down and make like applesauce. But I'm leaving the skin on and everything. And just save that kind of core. And add your apple in as well. I mean, so far pretty easy, guys. Apple, grated onion, about the same amount of both. Like a handful of both. Just going to kind of stir that through. Oh, yeah. Already smelling beautiful. Cool. So that's doing its thing. Next up, garlic. 3 cloves. That's the perfect amount for this. So I'm just going to kind of smash them, take them on other paper, then give them a really good smash. George, how we doing, bud? No questions from the crew out there? Everyone's following along?
A couple of people asked what kind of other vinegars would you use for that quick brine?
Ooh, for the quick brine, I would use anything that is not balsamic. Balsamic is too strong, and it has that really dark color to it, so you won't get that bright, vibrant onion, but like red wine vinegar, Apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, all great. White balsamic vinegar will work. All right, so 3 cloves of garlic, quickly chopped up, and added in. You know, you see us use so much garlic here at Homemade. Not only is it so good for you, it really is better than like granulated garlic or pre-chopped garlic. You know, it's a decision. You guys see that we kind of get all of our ingredients out. Conscious decision that we peel and chop the garlic in front of you guys. We want you to see how easy it is. It takes seconds, and it makes such a difference in the flavor. I mean, such a difference. It's just one of those things that take a little extra time, and I know is annoying, but man, the end product just is worth it. So garlic is in. And again, you don't see any like browning happening here, right? You just see them kind of sweating, getting nice and soft. Oh man, the garlic just hit. Ooh, that smells good. Beautiful. All right. So now all the spices. Again, I'm going to go on a spice rant for a sec. First of all, spices intimidate people. They don't know what spices to have on hand all the time. Do I have the right spices? How old is this spice? You guys, you do not need all these spices. You don't need any of these spices. Honestly, with the brown sugar and the apple and everything, you have a beautiful barbecue sauce. The spices just add a little bit of complexity. So if you have one of these, or if you have all 6 of them, all 7 of them, that's cool. But we have everything from smoked paprika to allspice to cayenne to give it a little bit of a zip, to a little bit of dried garlic. Beautiful. I mean, all good. Cinnamon. So those are all going to go in. Oh, man. Let it begin. Let the cough begin. The second that cayenne hits, it's game on. By the way, you can see I'm using a rubber spatula for this. I like it because you really get into the edges of this pan. Beautiful. All right, 4 more ingredients and this puppy is done. No particular order. Brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, apple cider vinegar, and good old-fashioned ketchup. Yes, folks, ketchup is in barbecue sauce. All right, we're going to just kind of slowly bring that together. Ooh, it smells so good. Now, of course, you can go buy your own barbecue sauce for this recipe, but you just saw everything that I put into this, right? Like, go look on the back of a barbecue sauce. There's a lot of added crap. I'm not going to lie. You want to look for barbecue sauce that has all natural ingredients, and it's really hard to find because it's hard to keep it shelf stable. So there's going to be ingredients on there that you can't even pronounce what it means, and I don't like to put that stuff in my body, just like I gave you the chicken spiel. So I like to make my own barbecue sauce. This will stay good for up to a month. There's enough acid in it to really preserve it. You can see it's starting to boil. So now I'm going to just turn it down to low so it doesn't boil over, and just going to let this kind of simmer away. Again, in about 10, 15 minutes, I mean, even at this point, it's delicious. But in 10, 15 minutes, it will be really, really good. All right, I want to take a quick breather and ask if there's any questions about the barbecue sauce, homemade barbecue sauce. And yes, this barbecue sauce is evergreen. You can use this on anything that calls for barbecue. This is our homemade 15-minute barbecue sauce blend, and we love it. George, how we doing?
What apples would you recommend for this barbecue sauce?
Great question. What apples would I recommend for this barbecue sauce? Honestly, any apple. Ones that have a little bit more brightness, Fuji, Cosmic Crisps, Galas, those really do add a little bit of a punch to this and kind of like wakes it up. But honestly, a green apple would be great. It has a nice sourness to it. I'm not really concerned because we're stewing it, but sometimes when you think about using apples in cooking, you think about like how much does it hold its shape? Like for pies, we all use green Granny Smith apples because they really hold their shape. If you use something like a red apple in a pie, it just becomes applesauce. So for this, we want it to cook down. So it really doesn't matter which kind of apple you use, but I'd say a Fuji is probably my top option. Love a Fuji. All right. This is looking awesome. So just to recap, I've got my Ranger chicken sliced up beautifully. Put that to the side there. Pickled red onions. Look at the color now. Come on, baby. Soft enough for me to get in there. Give them a quick little toss. I mean, come on. Those are so beautiful. Red onions. I got my bacon. You have to call it my bacon. You have to use that exact, what's it called? Well, I'm totally spacing. My bacon. Why do you call it? What? Accent. You got to put a little accent to the bacon. And then we have our barbecue sauce. Cool? So now I'm going to blow your minds. Our toppings are done. Our sauce is saucing. It's cooking down. Now I'm going to make some space. I also have some cheese, by the way. Smoked Gouda. Smoked Gouda. Enough said. Mozzarella. Almost always I use mozzarella on pizza because it gives you that stretch that everyone loves. Does it have a lot of flavor? Not really. So I always complement it with something that has more flavor, whether it's a cheddar, a smoked Gouda, a pecorino, a Parmesan, something like that. But mozzarella is almost on every pie I make because you really do want that like cheese factor. So I'm going to put my smoked Gouda and mozz to the side. I'm going to move my board. I'm going to make some space here. Oh, yeah. It's going down. All right. Now, typically, we make our own pizza dough. We're homemade. But when you're making, you're baking your Ranger chicken from scratch, you're baking, you're pickling onions, you've got a lot going on, we thought, hey, this is a place where maybe people should buy the dough. So we did call for some really good pre-made dough, which has just been at room temp. The big deal with pre-made pizza dough is, A, look at the ingredients. Again, make sure that you can pronounce everything that's on the back of that package. It should be flour, yeast, water, maybe a little salt. That's it. If you start seeing, words that start with mono or oxy or those types of things, get rid of it. But I like to take it out of the fridge about an hour before I use it, so it comes up to temp. A lot easier to work with. So I'm going to put this to the side, and where I'm going to blow your minds is this. We've all heard of cooking a pizza on a pizza stone, or on a we know that gives it a much more crispy crust versus putting it on a sheet tray. So if you do not have a pizza stone, I love this trick. We have our oven at 480 degrees, and I actually put a cast iron skillet upside down in it. So the handle is here. I flipped it upside down, and I'm using the base as my stone. Told you I'd blow your minds. So you can use a cast iron skillet, even a Dutch oven, to bake your pizzas on. How cool is that? That's pretty cool. I'm like, how cool is that? I answer myself, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I'm really excited about it. I think it's a really simple way to make a pizza. You just have to be kind of cognizant of how big these pizzas are going to be. And the reality, if you want a crispy pizza at home, you want to make them smaller. When you try and make a really big one, it's hard for the crust to cook through and not have soggy bits. So making individual pizzas makes a lot more sense for homemade pizza. So I'm going to grab this dough. And I would say this is going to make about 2. So I'll pull this guy out. Maybe it would make 3. I think maybe 3. There's going to be some little pizzas. All right. We put a little bit of oil on it, but you can absolutely have a little bit of extra flour nearby just to throw on your countertop. And I always like to start by using my fingers, kind of creating the shape I want. I hate a perfect circle. It will not be a perfect circle, but I always try and start with a circle. The reason why I hate a perfect circle is because it's homemade. I want it to look homemade. I want it to look rustic and not that a factory built it. So I always start by then stretching, kind of moving around, giving it a little pull, and just kind of stretching that gluten, that dough, and trying to get kind of like, as consistent as I can circle. It's looking really nice. You can, again, if it feels any sticky whatsoever, add a little bit more flour. And then I go to the rolling pin. Start in the middle, roll out, and always go back to that middle and then turn. Just like that. Oh, yeah. And I'm just kind of looking to kind of even it all out. George, did you get a whole wheat pizza crust? Is it just regular? There's some like beautiful little grains in there. I'm loving the texture. Looks beautiful. All right. The reason why I'm turning it is not only for an even crust, so we're rolling this even, but also just to make sure it releases, so it's not sticking to my counter. That's so important. Awesome. So then I want to grab something to slide it onto my stone with, or the back of my cast iron. I know most people don't have a pizza peel. All right, so if you don't have a pizza peel, just grab something like this, like the back of a tray. And I'm just going to kind of give a little flour on the back of this tray and stick my dough on this. And this is what I'm going to slide onto that peel. See how it's moving? If yours doesn't move, it needs more flour. Do not start building the pizza until you have more flour. Cool. This looks like the right size. I'm really excited about this. So the number one mistake people make when making pizza is they over sauce it and they over topping it. If you go to Italy, you will see it's very light on the sauce and the toppings. It's more about the dough, and like you want to be able to taste everything. When you pile it on, it's no good. It's too much. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. I'm going to start with my sauce. Maybe a spoonful, maybe two at the most. Really, again, it's about the chicken more than anything. Yeah, maybe two at the most. So I start in the middle, and I just kind of start going to the outside, leaving a little crust. That's about perfect, not going to lie. It's not globbed on. I can see a little bit of the dough underneath. It's beautiful because when it cooks, it is going to run a little bit. Then I go on with a little bit of the bacon. See? Just enough where it's like every little bite has a little bit. And then some of that gorgeous, gorgeous Ranger chicken. And I'm just going to kind of tear it into bite-sized pieces. Long, short. Again, so every little bite has a little bit of that Ranger chicken. That is the star of the show. A little bit of mozz. Touch of Gouda. Now we're talking. Make sure this guy still moves. Yep, good shape. And here we go. Hopefully you guys can see this. So I'm going to grab a towel, open up my oven, pull out the sheet tray, or not the sheet, but the rack with the actual stone on it. And just kind of shake this thing free. If it bunches up like that, you might need to use some tongs, a little spatula. Just help it out. It's beautiful. Ooh, come on, chicken, don't lose. All right. I would say my problem there, although it's going to come out great, this sheet tray was too tall. I need a sheet tray that has left heft. You're going to hook me up, George? We got something? All right, we'll do it again. That one's going to come out great. Again, for the toppings, when it comes off, we have a little bit of pickled red onion and cilantro. So we'll get to that. So I'm going to start rolling out a new one. It was definitely the right amount of dough. So let's do this again. A little bit of dough, a little bit of extra flour. Start by creating that shape you want. Pick it up and start stretching. Let gravity kind of help you here. What are you looking for, George? Cornmeal? I don't need cornmeal. I need. Oh, you have an actual peel? Oh man, that's cheating, but we'll do it. All right, thank you, buddy. So we do have an actual peel, but again, we just don't have an extra sheet tray. A sheet tray will work. I just want you guys to know that. All right, so we kind of let gravity do its thing. Awesome. Any stickiness you feel, you should give it a little bit of flour. It doesn't have to be insane, just a little bit, because that's really the enemy here. You do not want this to stick. All right, and then we're going to start in the middle, roll out, constantly turn. I love this. I love doing this. I mean, this sounds so cliche, but I love doing this with my kids. They just sit there and just roll dough. I mean, you could just count that dough out. It's not going to happen. But they just love rolling the dough, putting on the toppings. It's so fun. All right, so here's an actual pizza peel. I grab a little extra flour. On we go. And even with a real pizza peel, it's the same principle. It's moving. A lot easier on this guy. Beautiful. So let's build this one. Let's not overbuild it. A little bit of sauce. I would say 1.5 scoops even. Right? And just kind of to the corners. Yeah, that looks a little bit more even to me. The other one was a little oversauced. It's looking good though. All right, some of that gorgeous bacon. Again, it's not about the bacon. Don't overdo it with the bacon. The bacon's just kind of a background flavor. It's really about this free-range, gorgeous chicken. This gets kind of ripped up, torn off where it needs to go. Some mozz for stretch. Some Gouda for flavor. And you want to make sure this thing moves, which we are moving. So, that other pizza is looking pretty awesome. I'm going to grab some tongs. You know, a good pizza should take, at a pizza shop, I mean, you guys know, you walk into a pizza shop, there's one oven. And there's like 60, 80 tables, right, or seats. So how do they do it? Well, that one oven, the pizza should take about 2 to 3 minutes. That oven gets to about 900 degrees. This thing's not opening. Is it locked? Yeah, but it's down. Okay. That's weird. We'll go to the other tongue. So, yeah, 2 to 3 minutes because it's about 900 degrees, right, in those wood fire pizza ovens. Your oven, 500 degrees at best. With that stone in there or the upside down cast iron, maybe 550, 600 at the best. So it's going to take a little longer, 5, 6 minutes for that to cook. And every single time you open that door, you lose, for every couple seconds that door is open, you lose, about 50 degrees. So you want to be really careful. Really, really careful. All right. I'm going to grab this because I want to continue using it. You can always get in there, pull it out, and kind of just rotate it so it's getting all the bits you need to get totally cooked. It is looking really gorgeous, I'm not going to lie. Really awesome. How are we doing, guys? I'm going to bake this other one, but I want to make sure I'm kind of getting to all the questions. There's a lot going on here. We've talked a lot about Ranger chicken, about pizza, pickled onions. So what's going on out there? Not on this one. Not on this one. It is kind of always about the bacon, but on this one, it's about the chicken. It's about that fresh sauce with that beautiful grated apple. It just brings brightness to the party, and I really, really love that. I love that. Now, let's say at home you start to bake your pizza, and this needs about another 2 minutes to be where it should be, and you're just not happy with the crust. You're like, man, I made it small, like Joel said, so it would stay nice and crispy, but it's not golden brown. You can always turn on the broiler. And a lot of the times in pizza shops, what they do is they're also not happy with the crust. So they pick the pizza up once it's almost done, and they hold it to the top of the oven. And that way it gets direct heat on the toppings, on the cheese, and gives you that really beautiful, bubbly, golden brown. So you can always do that. You can turn on your broiler while it's still in there, and it just flashes heat. The broiler is just monster direct heat right on top of the pizza. So always an option. I just want to make sure that you guys know that. All right, I'm going to move my sauce to the side. Gosh, this is like the nicest little group of toppings. I'm like really into the colors. You know, everyone's used to the same pizza toppings. It's nice to do a little different thing, like a barbecue chicken thing. I think that's really cool. I don't know. I like surprises like that. All right, let's take a look at this puppy. I'm going to pull it out onto here. Actually, I'm going to go cutting board since we're going to cut this. All right, take a look. It's good. I'm pretty happy with that. We'll do a little close-up so you guys can see. I do want to get my other pizza in. All right, so again, make sure it's moving. Pull out the cast iron. Try and be quick about it because we're losing temperature. You can watch this slide a lot better on that one. Hey, it's like pancakes. The first one might not always work out. So I do want you guys to kind of see what I see. And this is why it is so worth it to make it small. So first of all, looks stunning. It really does. It's got great crust. You guys can see the bottom. That's what the cast iron gives it, that golden brown, right? If I pick it up, it's not sagging. It holds its structure. Really, really important. So what I love to do is I like to cut it before I dress it. So I've got this little pizza. You know, for this guy, maybe I'll cut it into 3. Just like that. George, you know what I totally forgot that I want? It's like a platter. Will you get me a white plate? I think it will pop a little bit more. George is going to get me a platter, but I do want to show you guys just a slice itself. Really gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. Again, great crust. I'm really happy with the cast iron situation on this crust. Look at that. It's really hot, but I'm trying to show you guys the golden brown crust there. George is grabbing me a little plate. Of course, you guys can chop this up smaller into little bite-sized pieces. Thank you, George. That one. Thanks, brother. All right, we got a little plate here. And I'm just going to kind of pizza on this guy. And then at this point, I take a little bit of these red onions. Again, it's not about the red onions, but I like to kind of do 2 or 3 per slice. They just kind of brighten them up. They're kind of strong. They're kind of punchy in a good way. A little bit of that cilantro. This is kind of like taking the place of basil on a margarita pizza or something like that. And I just kind of rip this everywhere. I mean, is this New York style pie? No. Is it kind of like California fusion, fun, not taking itself too seriously? Heck yeah. That looks awesome. Is that not beautiful? Let's do a little side view here. Look at that. I'd eat that all day. I'm not enough of a food snob to not think this is fun and exciting. I'd eat that all day. That is so fun. I love it. Now, a cool trick when pizza comes out is, let's see if I have a little brush in here. Yep. So one cool trick is you can kind of put a little oil on your board, put your brush in it, and just kind of dab the crust. Gives it a shine and a little extra flavor too. That really adds to it. Like it's kind of like a finishing oil. And I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but it's way shinier now. And it really just looks beautiful and tastes that much more insane, in my opinion. All right, we're going to let this one continue to cook, but I want to ask the world out there, how are you guys doing? All of a sudden, New York came out. How you all doing? Nice, Lena T. Now, Lena, I like that you used parchment paper. Another really smart idea. You can always put parchment paper instead of the flour. Saves you a little extra starch, but also really ensures that it moves. So you can put parchment paper on your peel, and it will for sure move. And you can bake it on the parchment paper. It will not burn, or it might turn a little brown, but it won't burn, which is great. Lena, did you do the pickled onions? Yeah, buddy! I love it. I love it. This is fast. I mean, honestly, this is fast becoming one of my favorite classes because, I don't know, I just think it's so different. I love these flavors. Barbecue, pickled red onions, bacon, beautiful juicy chicken. Like, absolutely love it. George is going to kill me, but George, I really want you to try this on camera. Are you open?
If it's pizza.
Okay, if it's pizza, yeah, he says. All right, buddy. This is your piece right here.
Thank you.
This is George, by the way. He makes everything happen here in the kitchen. We love him. Okay, don't just say it's super good. Like, what are you getting? What are you getting?
I'm getting the chicken, the bacon, the barbecue sauce, but I really want jalapenos on it.
You want jalapenos on it. Guy wants some heat. Thank you, George. I actually think that sounds really, really good. But he's loving the chicken, loving the bacon. I'm telling you, the chicken, when you have gorgeous free-range chicken like that, you do taste it. You taste it over everything else, and it makes the dish. It really, really does. All right, I'm going to go see my pizza, maybe give it a rotation if it needs it. Now, on this one, I'm going to start by saying it's getting there, but I'm not thrilled with how brown it's looking. So let's do this live. I'm going to put it on broil. All right, I'm going to press start. So I didn't take the pizza out and then put it on broil. I just turned it to broil. Now, when you have broil on, I don't care if it's for mac and cheese, lasagna, a chicken casserole, it doesn't matter. You need to hang out by the oven. All right? That broiler, whoo, it can go fast and really burn what you're doing. So I like to hang out. This is where that light in the oven is so important. You can really see what it's doing. And like already I can see it's like taking it far. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Just going to give it a quick rotation. And I'm going to say like maybe 30 more seconds. Might even be too much. Yeah. I love it. It's looking really good. That cast iron trick works every time. All right. 3, 2, 1. I'm happy. Oh, yeah. Let me hold this guy up for you guys. Look at the caramelization from that broiler. Really beautiful little dark spots. Stunning. The crust, hard to show you guys how crispy that is. Really beautifully crispy. For this, a little bit of oil. Do our little brush on the outside. Show you guys underneath. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Try and get that on a sheet tray. Very, very hard to do. Add this to its family. Its pizza family. Ooh, come off, my man. And then again, when you finish this off, not overdoing it with the toppings. So important. I just want to keep stressing that. It's an American thing. We love all the stuff. Kind of like we're all from Texas. Not to knock anyone from Texas, but Texas knows how to do it up. And we don't really want to go big on this. We want to go kind of light, balanced. Yeah. Killer. A little bit of extra cilantro. I like the little stems on there. I think it looks pretty. And you can absolutely eat them. And you have a really different, fun, vibrant pizza dish. Look at that. I mean, that is definitely cookbook worthy. So fun for game day, too. Like, not taking itself too seriously. You can cut them up even smaller. You know, if it was for my kids or for friends, I would go like that. And just have like little pieces that people can kind of just grab and have with a beer or something like that. But so fun. So killer. So I'm going to show you guys. Make sure you guys can take. I know some people like to take some stills. So there's beautiful barbecue chicken pizza with free-range Ranger chicken, Pacific Northwest raised. We love them. Here's this view. Man, what a fun dish. I'm really digging it. I hope you guys, that's coming through. I'm really excited about this one. Awesome. Well, we're getting near the hour. God, that whizzed by, at least for me. This is your last chance, guys. You got me, you got George. What questions do you have about the barbecue chicken pizza, about chicken in general? We are here for you. Pizza making. Okay, we're feeling good. Well, you guys, it's Thursday. We have no class tomorrow, so have phenomenal weekends filled with homemade projects and amazing, amazing food, we really hope. I want to thank Ranger Chicken, our amazing partner. Again, head to their website, rangerchicken.com, or you can check out Draper Valley Farms, which is their parent company and has chicken all over the country that you might be able to track down. Look for free-range chicken, non-GMO diet, so important. And try something new. Try these gorgeous, gorgeous barbecue chicken pizza. So fun, so different, cheeky, and I don't know, just a breath of fresh air. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.